Hey everybody, so we have a trade to talk about that took place yesterday. Vladislav Namestnikov has been traded from the New York Rangers to the Ottawa Senators in exchange for defenseman Nick Ebert and a 2021 fourth round draft pick. So Namestnikov, if you remember, a couple years ago was traded to the Rangers from the Tampa Bay Lightning in the midst of a career year for him where it looked like he was having a breakout season. But it's been all downhill for Namestnikov since moving from Tampa Bay to New York. And I think at this point, really, he just fell out of favor with the Rangers coaching staff, with the Rangers organization. He did not turn into the player that they thought they were getting when they traded for him. Namestnikov... So let's go back. Namestnikov was a first-round pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning back in 2011. He came up through the Lightning organization and had a couple of good seasons with Tampa Bay. In 2015-16, he played 80 games and had 14 goals and 35 points as a bottom six forward with the team, which was a decent year for him. He followed that up with not quite as good of a year with only 10 goals and 18 assists for 28 points in 74 games. And then in 2017-2018, he had what was supposed to be a breakout season for Vlad Namestnikov. He played 62 games that year with Tampa Bay. He had 20 goals, his first 20-goal season, 24 assists for 44 points. And it looked like he was going to take the next step in his career. Partway through that season, actually around the trade deadline, after playing 62 games and scoring 20 goals with Tampa Bay, he got traded to the New York Rangers. Tampa was a team that probably, was looking ahead and knew that they weren't going to be able to keep everybody, given the salary cap situation and given the talent on that team. And they looked at Namestnikov as a guy who they could move and they could get something for. So they traded him to the New York Rangers during his breakout season. And really, it was all downhill for Namestnikov from the moment he got to New York. He played 19 games with the Rangers that season, only scored 2 goals and 2 assists in those 19 games. And all of a sudden, the 44-point breakout season really went downhill at the end, and he didn't do anything with New York. And then last year, 2018-2019, in his first full season with the New York Rangers, he played 78 games. He only had 11 goals and 31 points. So he did not turn out to be the player that the Rangers thought they were getting when they traded for him. He's never really been anything more than a third liner. And he's really struggled last year, and then starting this year, he played 2 games with the Rangers, no points, and was -2. And I just think at this point the Rangers were done with him. They looked at him as this didn't work out. They're done with him. He's 26 years old, and now he's off to the Ottawa Senators because things certainly did not work out with the Rangers. So. It's interesting. I saw a post on one of the hockey pages I follow on Facebook. I don't remember which one, but it said when this trade was announced, it said Vlad Namestnikov has been traded to the Ottawa Senators, which means he'll be playing in the KHL next year. And I couldn't help but laugh at that because that is a very real possibility. This could be it for Namestnikov in the NHL. He has not turned out to be the player that teams thought he would. Tampa Bay, and hindsight's always 20/20, but I think Tampa Bay saw that maybe that 20-goal season was because of who he was playing with and the talent he was playing with versus, how good of a player himself he actually is. And since he's been taken away from all that talent in Tampa Bay, he has not produced offensively at all. So, maybe the Lightning kind of saw the writing on the wall with him and knew what they were doing when they got rid of him. And the Rangers thought they were getting a 20-goal scorer and somebody who would develop into a second-line scoring winger and be a quality player, and that's just not what Namestnikov is. So now he's off to Ottawa, which, kind of that getting sent to Ottawa is kind of like getting traded to the Browns in the NFL. It's like teams just send you there to rot away and die. And we'll see what he does with the Senators. Now, obviously, in Ottawa, with that lineup and how bad of a team they are, he's very likely to get more playing time with the Senators and more of an offensive chance to put up some points and play a bigger offensive role with the Senators. But there's not a whole lot of talent there. I don't know if he's going to really capitalize on that. It's certainly far different than playing with the Lightning, that's for sure. So, this very well could be his last season in the NHL. He could be back to Russia after this because he's really fallen out of favor with teams. Certainly he did with the Rangers. And I think around the league, he's looked at as a guy who never really fulfilled his potential and whose career is headed in the wrong way. So the Rangers, I think, were just trying to honestly get rid of him. They get a 4th-round pick out of the deal. And Nick Ebert, who is a 25-year-old defenseman, career AHL player, probably is only ever going to be an AHL player. I don't see him with much of an NHL future. He actually has spent the last 2 seasons playing in Europe between the KHL in Russia and the Swedish league. He's back in the AHL this year. I think he's a career minor leaguer. So for me, I don't think the Rangers were overly worried about what they were getting in return. The draft pick it's a 4th-round pick, so it's not like it's a 1st or 2nd, but they do get a draft pick out of it, and they get an AHL defenseman to help the Hartford Wolfpack. So I think this mostly was just the New York Rangers wanting to move on from Namestnikov, and Ottawa probably gave them, Ottawa was probably one of the few teams interested, because I don't think there would have been a lot of interest around the league in a guy like Namestnikov. So Ottawa was probably one of the few teams interested and gave the Rangers the best deal for them to just get him out of New York. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.